Welcome to another episode of the Be Wise Podcast. I am your host, Chris Y. Wright. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm a new channel, just trying to grow it. And we're going to talk about what everyone's talking about. And it's the Pam Bondi hearings. There was a lot of sides, people taking sides. And was she right? Was she wrong? She didn't answer the questions. Was she bullied? Was she attacked? Was she the bully? Was she the mean girl? And everybody's talking about it. And there's a lot to unpack here. I want to give you my opinion.
Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump? All of you. I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over 50,000.
Yeah, so that was her, Pam Bondi, Attorney General. And listen, here's my take. She did what she was there to do. I think that a lot of people feels that she is there to appease the Democrats, that she's there to make them feel comfortable. I personally think no matter what she says, they're going to still keep punching at her. So you may disagree with me, but I think that her coming out on the defensive was apropos. I know that there's sensitivity to the Epstein files, the victims, those at that time young ladies who are all seem to be older ladies now. But nevertheless, Pam Bondi is there to support and defend the President of the United States. This is not a situation where she was confirmed by, a bipartisan, vote. No Republicans confirmed her, all Democrats, and she won because, of course, we had the numbers. But I don't know how anyone out there could expect the Democrats to be nice to her, nor her to be nice to them. Personally, I think the House Judiciary Committee was a waste of time. I don't know what they expected to learn. I don't know what they expected the outcome to be. Basically, it was a tar and feather exercise. Let's get her out here, beat her up, let her know that we feel that she's responsible for what's taking place today. I don't care that this has been going on for the last 12 to 15 years. I don't care that the Obama administration and the Biden administration were also, responsible for this. Accountability is the word I'm looking for. Right now, it's your administration. The time is now. Pam Bondi, you and Donald Trump need to take accountability. That's just kind of how it's playing out. And so for her lashing out, her being a mean girl, I can't say I blame her. I mean, I think Merrick Garland was when he had his House Judiciary Committee hearing, he was also defensive. He also didn't answer a lot of questions. He also deflected. These questions weren't asked about, the Clintons and their association with Epstein. Out of all of these years, Donald Trump is the only one that actually said, okay, we're going to give you some files. And now it's not the files they want. And it's not redacted the way they want. And the questions aren't answered like they want. But of all the presidents between Obama, Biden, and Trump, he's the only one that gave us something to start with. Gave us binders. So I'm going to show some of the videos, some of the highlights of the Pam Bondi hearings, and I'm going to unpack them. And we'll go from there and see, we'll talk about them, see what you think. You can chop it up in the comments, let me know.
You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. All they want to do, all the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them ask Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over, the Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Okay, so my take on that speech there, or that segment there, is that she could have stopped after talking about Merrick Garland. She should have probably stopped after just praising Donald Trump and, you know, his transparency with the Epstein files, releasing the files. But she went into the economy and the Dow Jones. And she also went into his efforts on immigration and things like that. I think those things were irrelevant. One of my biggest problems with this whole hearing was that if you wanted to have this hearing to focus on the Epstein files, you should have stuck to that. The committee was talking about J6. They were talking about Mar-a-Lago. They were talking about crypto. They were talking about so many different things that really didn't focus on the Epstein files. And I thought that's what the American people wanted to hear. And so for her to go off into the economy, what the Dow's doing, what we're doing with immigration enforcement, that was a little bit loose. And I just don't think that's what the American people were here today to talk about. Let's go into some of the different battles, some of the headbutting that she had with each individual. It got interesting and it got combative. And I'll tell you my opinion on the other side, but it got really interesting.
I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I'm reclaiming my time. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Chairman, please stop the clock. Stop the clock.
the legislation. This is
Time
ridiculous.
belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and the officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Okay, so let's talk about that. That was a little bit theatrical. I think that him mentioning the girl unaliving herself, killing herself, whatever. Sometimes I think I'm on TikTok and I say unalive. But I do transfer my videos to TikTok, so that's why I do that. Anyway, I thought that was just a little bit beyond the pale. Telling her he was accusing her of a crime. That's non-productive. What are you doing? That's non-productive. Talk about making friends and influencing people. That's not how you do it, Mr. Lou. So I agreed with Pam Bondi pushing back and said, don't you ever accuse me of a crime. Unless you want to be sued for defamation. And she could very well do it. Show me some receipts. That document he showed was not a receipt. That was hearsay. Third party from a limo driver who may or may not be willing to testify. And then what? You'll be settling a lawsuit. So, for me, Pam Bondi, 1-0. All right, next was Representative Ballant. I think she's from Vermont. Let's see what she had to say.
Was the president aware of Secretary Lutnick's ties to Epstein when he chose him to lead the Department of Commerce? Was he aware?
Chris Malin was a Border Patrol agent.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude that the president, in fact, did know about his ties because he was the next door neighbor.
Shame on you.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
You're
This
from
is
a tiny,
pathetic.
beautiful
This is
state.
pathetic, Mr.
Committee will
Chair.
be in order.
I am not asking trick questions here. The
You got your
American
5
people
minutes.
have a right to know the answers to this. These are senior officials in the Trump administration. This is not a game, Secretary.
I'm Attorney General.
My apologies, I couldn't tell. By 2008, we knew that Epstein was a convicted sexual abuser. And we now know that Lutnick went to Epstein's Island in 2012. How was that not a deal breaker for the president? And why aren't you asking questions of the Commerce Secretary about what he saw when he was at the island, which he lied about not ever going to? Why are you not asking these questions? And I see that my time is almost expired, so I will say this. Do the right thing, Attorney General. Meet with the survivors. They have been asking for a year. Meet with the survivors. Do the right thing. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
May I have?
All right, so that one, Ballant asked a question. I thought it was about a Trump hiring or, someone that Trump decided to have on his cabinet. And she's yelling at Pam Bondi about that. Again, for me, not productive. I guess she's saying if Donald Trump knew this guy was in the files, why would he hire him? But everything in the files are speculative. Like, it's not always factual. There's a ton of people in the files. What if a studio said, I'm just using this name as an example. I'm not accusing him of anything. Let's say, Matt Damon is in the files. Well, a studio said, we can't give him any more movies until we figure this out. And it just never happens. And you blackball someone for no reason. So if Donald Trump thought this guy was worthy of being on his cabinet or working for his administration, and his name was in the files, there's a lot of people's names in the files. Not giving credit to Lady Victoria Harvey, but she said, she's in Great Britain, she said, yeah, I'm in the files. He's in the files. Everyone's in the files. Pierce Morgan's in the files, she said. She said, basically, if you're not in the files, then you're not someone of stature. So many people name are in the files, even journalists. So for me, Pam Bondi had the right to push back on that, in my opinion. Thoughts on that? Let me know. This is the one that kills me with Representative what's her name? Ballant. I don't know how to say it, but this here.
May I have 20 seconds of his time?
That'll be up to the gentleman, but
Absolutely, Madam.
Thank you. Thank you. I was curious if you, Congresswoman, asked Bill Clinton that. Didn't see one tweet, not one. I didn't see one tweet when Joe Biden was in office about Bill Clinton. Didn't ask Merrick Garland anything about Epstein, not once when he was.
Weak sauce.
And also, I want the record to reflect that, you know, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh,
He's Jewish. I just want to be clear.
do you want to go there, Attorney
time
General?
belongs
Or
to
do
the
you
ge-
want to go there? Are
Time
you
belongs to the
serious?
gentleman
Talking
from
about
South
anti-Semitism
Carolina.
to a woman who
Lady-
lost her grandfather in the
I reclaim
Holocaust?
my time. I
Really?
reclaim my time.
Really?
Performative. She got that upset about her saying the word anti-Semitism to her because, oh, that's like, how dare you accuse me of racism? I have black friends. How dare you accuse me of racism? I have a black wife or a white wife. No. She's just saying, in light of anti-Semitism, you just did not support a bill. And then when she was talking about, you know, questioning Merrick Garland about Bill Clinton, I don't see any tweets. I don't see any commentary about that. And you were screaming in the background, weak sauce. That's weak sauce. I thought Bondi was justified to bring up those particular circumstances. 3-0 Bondi. I'm just telling my standpoint. I just thought that the hearing, the committee wasn't focused. And I thought Bondi was justified to fight that against a group of people who did not confirm her, who don't like her. That's my take. You might not like it, but that's my take on that. All right, let's go to Jayapal.
Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a
Attorney General,
specific question
Attorney General
that
can
I would
respond to your
like
question.
you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness get to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she
It
doesn't
is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she ask
question.
Merrick Garland this?
I am
Twice
reclaiming
when
my
he sat in
time,
my
and when
chair.
I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman,
my
the gentleman is
time.
I'm
reclaimed her
not going to
time.
get in the gutter for her theatrics.
Okay. So Jayapal also had victims stand up and say, raise your hand if you think that you have been mistreated by the DOJ. And I think that what she expected was for Bondi to turn around and acknowledge them. And Bondi would not do that. She's an attorney, long time. She's 60 years old, although she may not look it. Great job with the Botox and other cosmetic things going on. I digress. I think she's a beautiful woman, but she's 60. You may not know that. Anyway, she's an attorney for a long time. If that attorney was representing you in a sexual assault case or whatever, or something where you harmed someone else, your attorney's going to tell you your accused victims are going to be in the courtroom behind you. Do not look at them. Do not acknowledge them, because it's going to change your emotions. And I don't want that on your face or in your behavior. Don't look at them, and don't apologize to them in any part of this hearing, because that is an admission of guilt. She's not a dumb lawyer, so I'm not going to acknowledge them. However, what she did is she did acknowledge them and mention them verbally in the beginning of the hearing. I like to extend my, my sincere, acknowledgement to the victims and my prayers. It's unfortunate what's happened to you, this, that, and I'm not sure what her exact verbiage was, but she did acknowledge them that way. But to grandstand and do these theatrics in the courtroom, if you feel that you've been mistreated by the DOJ, raise your hand. And I want you, Attorney General Bondi, to turn around and acknowledge them. No lawyer worth his salt would have done that. Not a chance. So I don't know why she would expect them to do that as well. No. And once again, Pam Bondi said, you did not ask Merrick Garland these questions. He sat in this seat twice. There was no questions regarding the Epstein files when he was here. Let's look at Representative Johnson.
You are acutely aware of how important it is to protect the identity of victims of sexual assault, correct?
I have addressed this multiple times. I think others were cutting me off when I was trying to.
Well, I just simply asked, are you aware of the fact that it's vitally important to protect the identity of sexual assault victims as you prosecute the people they accuse of assaulting them? Isn't that correct?
Excuse me. As we have said multiple times,
Protection of the identity
of all victims
of the victims
are
is
protected.
so very
You are
important.
protected under. Do you want me to answer or do you want to interrupt?
Well, because you're not answering the question. You do a Jekyll and Hyde kind of routine around here, and I just want you to answer my questions.
What does Jekyll and Hyde mean? Can
Well,
you
it
explain
means
that?
you're nice to the
Explain
Republicans and you turn like Hyde on Democrats.
So, Representative Johnson, there's no need to attack her. There's no need to say that she's Jekyll and Hyde. You asked a question. She went to answer it. It wasn't yes or no like you want. Listen, guys, no attorney is going to give you yes or no answers. They're attorneys. I call my 12-year-old an attorney because every time I say something to her, she doesn't say yes, sir, or no, sir. She comes back to me with why she was justified in doing what she did. She comes back to me and let me know that, Dad, I did it because, and then when you didn't do that and you said, it's always a whole soliloquy. My wife and I get so frustrated. So we call her a little attorney. You know what I mean? So, no, you're not going to get an attorney to give you yes or no answers. There's always going to be some extra attached to that. So I understand. And you may think, of course, you're over there supporting Bondi. Listen, what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the victims out of this equation today. I am taking the Epstein files out of this equation today. I just want to look at and judge Pam Bondi's interactions with the committee. Because I know when you start looking at the victims and the whole Epstein files, we get sensitivity there, emotion there, and that would be a different story. But politics aren't the real world, unfortunately. So I'm just judging her interactions with the committee. All right, Massey.
Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I'm reclaiming
at all
my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
this
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
now,
where the
I want to
most
know at
transparent-
what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please. to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has
Which,
expired.
may she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
I thought he was a little over the top, but she didn't get anywhere close to his questions. I'll give him that one. He bought some receipts, but he was shouting her down. I'm sorry. I thought that was disrespectful. I think that the President's Attorney General has superior or authority over all of those people in that room. And I think from a ranking position, I think that the Attorney General should be treated with respect, and he was not respectful at all, nor was any of those people in the room, actually. So I don't blame her for getting a little bit pissy about that. All right, let's see what Moskowitz has to say.
This is not under attorney-client privilege because it was sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. Will you commit to publicly providing the unredacted version of this so that the American people can understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
You're about as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
So will you unredact this? Will you
were
unredact
lead
this?
counsel on that. Privileged.
I'm asking you, will you unredact this?
Privileged.
Privileged, of course. I look forward to discussing this more. Now, these are obviously improper redactions.
And let me stop for a minute.
I'm talking.
No.
I'm
if they're
talking.
not privileged,
Quiet.
don't yell at me. If they're not
Mr. Chairman, would you stop
privileged,
the clock? This is on your time. It's not on Mr.
if they're
Gomez.
not
Even though you
privileged,
used your
if we review
improper
them and they're not-
redactions
you'll like my answer.
to
If we
continue
review
to
them and they're not
protect
privileged,
Donald
Time belongs to the
we will
member.
be happy to release them.
We'll
after
stop the
review.
clock. We'll stop the clock. Time belongs to the member. Go ahead.
Even though you used improper redactions to protect Donald Trump and other predators associated with Jeffrey Epstein, you did the exact opposite thing with the survivors and victims of this scheme.
So do you think there should be clocks at all? I think that kind of, I don't know, it doesn't make for a good hearing. Or maybe the clock should be longer. I just don't feel like this. I reclaim my time. I yield my time. The clock will be stopped. Please start. I just think that I don't know, kind of muddies up the water. I don't like that part of these hearings. But she attacked him right away, right from the start. I didn't like that part, but she did mention the fact that, listen, you tried to impeach Donald Trump, and I think you're impartial here. She was pointing out that you're a hypocrite, you're impartial, and that you're privileged, especially since he was heading those impeachment hearings. That's something I'm going to look into. That was interesting. We're going to look into Nadler, who also has been in the House for a long time. Talk about term limits, guy. This guy, he may die in office. Who knows? But here he is.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people,
How many
but
have
I'm
you-
going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
the time belongs.
I think it's very
Reclaiming
interesting.
my time.
I think it's very
Reclaiming my
interesting.
time.
You can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they
Reclaiming my time,
indicted.
Mr.
The
Chairman.
president said they
Close the
indicted
clock.
him
Mr.
twice.
Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time
Reclaiming my
belongs
time
to the
and roll
gentleman
back
from
the
New
clock,
York.
please.
We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness
question
gets to
was-
answer. You may not like the answer, but she
Right.
gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming-
So he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute
time.
question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
I mean, You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch.
Reclaim
Not on our time. No way.
Reclaim
And I
it?
told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I
anything,
did tell you because we
washed
saw
up
what you did in the
loser
Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order. Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I
Not
said
a
that
few more,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler. Go.
Reclaiming my time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0.
You are.
Well, that guy got yelled at. She called him a washed up loser lawyer. In fact, you're not even a lawyer. Why? Because he yelled at her. Listen, I'm married. There's a certain way, first of all, certain way, certain decorum, certain respect that you need to talk to people. But a woman, and you're a man, and you're mansplaining, and you're reprimanding, and bro, you talk to your wife like that out of that mouth? You talk to your mother like that? No wonder she pushed back at you and called you a washed up wannabe lawyer. That's just not how it goes down. But those are the highlights. I am on Team Bondi on this. I don't think they would have talked to a man like that. I don't think they ever talked to Merrick Garland like that. I think you got to respect the women that are in these positions. And I think it would have just been a different behavior. And let me talk about Nadler. I wanted to bring up the point when I talked about how long he's been in Congress. He's been a congressman for 33 years, since 1992. There's got to be term limits. There's got to be 33, 40 years as a congressman. I don't know. Just doesn't go over. Anyway, that's my take on the Pam Bondi. I just thought she handled her own. You might not like it. Maybe she doesn't support the things you want to support. This whole hearing and other parts that I didn't even show highlights about, it wasn't about Epstein files. It was about get Donald Trump. That's all they want. You know, this has been an issue for years. No other president has released files. Donald Trump did. All throughout the hearing, they were talking about J6 and who Donald Trump hired and Mar-a-Lago and how Pam Bondi's cabinet's been gutted and it's been replaced with a crypto cabinet. And they want to know about Donald Trump's cryptocurrency and who he's, commingling with in business. And I don't know. It was a shit show. And I just think that it's never about Epstein. It's never about the hearings. It's never about the trial. It's all about getting Donald Trump. They want to win the midterms and they want to impeach. And that's what they're focused on. That's it. All right, guys, I'll see you at the next video. I'll talk to you soon at my next show, Be Wise Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave some comments. Take care.